Alright, the level 54 Scholar quest is False Friends, given to us by Surito Carito to the west of Camp Bronze Lake, on the edge of the actual Bronze Lake. Here we go. Cutscene. He's just looking out over the water. Alka and myself run up. I have worked day and night on the cure, and yet I have little to show for it. My research is at a standstill for lack of information. I feared as much. If ever men had knowledge of the sickness, it was long lost before this age. Even after careful study of Nemean tablets, I still know little more than what you have told me, that it came from the sea, says Alka. From traders who returned from the South Seas, yes. They had lost their mainmast in a fearsome tempest and drifted, victims of the current, until at last they ran aground on a desert isle. Half dead, they stumbled ashore and would have perished but for the Lalafellan tribe that lived there. These natives nursed the traders back to health, traders, not traitors, and helped mend their ship. They even sent our men home with an amphora etched with ornate designs, a gift of friendship. In Nim, we had given them the rights due to those lost at sea. When they sailed into port a year after they had left, you can imagine how joyful the mood was. Yet our joy soon turned to horror. The traders began to grow ill, for the sickness was upon them. They transformed, and the rest you know. The story suggests the traders contracted the disease on the isle. The voyage home must have been... Hold on. The traders were hale and healthy when they returned to Nim, yes? The sickness became known only after they reached port? You mean to suggest that it was not the men who bore the disease? Then who, or what? Something they carried, perhaps? Something like the islanders' gift? That does seem the more likely culprit, but without the amphora, this is all conjecture, and I would be astounded if even a shard remains after 1,500 years. As would I. It was placed on display in the royal halls for all to see. If only I had considered it a possible source. The royal halls? I know exactly where those used to be. Precious little remains of them, but I will scour the area, and if Mercy joins me, mayhap we will be lucky. He goes running out of the scene. Quest accepted. Black screen. End of cutscene. Let's teleport to Camp Overlook in Outer Lenosha, and then fly to the west. Sky doesn't know that Fiona and me doing it my man every Sunday, but the song isn't. Alright, here's Alka, but that's not where I'm supposed to be for now. There's a dark, roiling purple destination spot. I will click it. And a battle will ensue. Long survey. Still going. And you see no sign of the South Seas amphora. We got a Gabbro Golem, level 54. Got a cone attack. And a circle. Flame Cracker. It's a blue mage spell. Much shorter cast time for blue mage. Would have been nice, Alka, if you helped me. I kill very slowly. Another dark purple roiling little spot. These are all kind of like... So this area has a lower area, and then rocky kind of outcroppings, like these hills sort of that jag up, and then end at a point. You just jump from the point down below. Another long survey. so long, so bad, so bad. Even using Aether Flow and Energy Drain. Obviously I don't need to heal. Still takes me forever. I should have used that amount of time running from Flame Cracker to re-up my dot. Would have saved me a global cooldown. Alright, 2 golems down, and then one more. This one does not have purple dark roiling energy, but it's still a long survey. You spot something half covered with soil several yalms below you. Like, down here? Oh, yeah. This also has a dark purple roiling, so Amphora interacting. We got 2 imps. The Toso Adherence they are. Hit him with dots, spam my AoE Arch of War. If you are a tank or a healer, for some reason, you do the most damage on 2 or more targets with AoE. If you're a DPS, you do the most damage on 2 targets or less with your single target rotation and 3 or more with your AoE. Oh, good again. That is the math as I did it a while ago. It's been several months, maybe even almost a year, but I think I did some of the math while I was leveling Black Mage the second time around for me, but the first time recording it. You dig out an empty amphora from the soil where it lies. 98 gil brings us back to Camp Bronze Lake, which is again reduced from Free Company. After this quest, I got nothing to do aside from continue to lay out all of the materials I will need for the levels 31 through 35 crafts for all of the crafting jobs except for Culinarian because it's already level 80 whatever. What level is it? 83? 87, damn. As are Fisher and Botanist. I didn't level them all concurrently. I did Botany and Culinarian for the longest time. Not the long, until I realized that the fish that I needed I could no longer get easily. So then I leveled Fisher. Now they're all equal level. Back to Surito Carito, west of Camp Bronze Lake, for the turn-in. I beg your pardon? You found it? Intact? Hand over the empty amphora. Cutscene again. Incredible. I remember this as though it were yesterday. This is the self-same amphora. Could be amphora, but it's AMPH. Then it truly is an honest-to-God's miracle, though it occurs to me now that we should handle it with a bit more care, assuming it can, turn us into tonberries. I take a half step back. I say something to Surito. Voidsent, that is what attempted to stop you from taking the amphora? Voidsent are drawn to the magics of their own kind, which means a Voidsent of some strength was likely sealed herein. Yes, here, a binding sigil cut into the bottom. Dear gods, it cannot be. This is the work of Mahak, Mary H.A. Charlie H. I'm going to go with Mahak. Alka does a little panic reaction. Mahak, beware the dark, keep away or lose your heart. That Mahak? An apt rhyme doubtless inherited from Nim. Mahak was our enemy, rapacious and unwise. He was unwise, and yet he was able to... Okay. Their magi trafficked with the void, grew mighty from shadows, and attacked our lands time and again. Look no further than this, their sigil, which sealed the void sent in this gift, in quotes. The islanders must have been their pawns in a plot to bring us to our knees. We were fools. Not once did we consider that everything, from the tempest to our trader's miraculous return, might be a void mage ploy. I must return to my tomes. Pray allow me time to research this, and please tell me if you begin to transform. We both take a half step back in panic. 49,920 experience points, 1,013 gil. Broil is a... Isn't that just the upgrade of... Yeah. Ruin is turning to Broil. Ruin 2 gets a potency upgrade. I never use it. It's one you can cast it while moving. Oh yeah, I mean I should remember to do that sometimes. Yeah. And then Art of War gets a potency upgrade as well. Get a little quickie cutscene where it goes, yeah, I got it. Okay. So, yeah. Let's see. Ruin was 150, is still 150, but it got replaced, so I literally cannot put Ruin on my bar. If you try, it becomes Broil. Not that you would probably want to. I don't think there's a reason. Ruin 2 is 160. Where do I have it? I have it on V. I could probably press V while moving if I remember to do it, but I don't remember to do it. I found out the rescue doesn't work ever on squadron members, and I made a video of the final fight of Brave Flox's Long Stop Hard with squadron as a scholar, because I failed 5 times on that last fight before I figured out that Art of War, my instant cast AoE, was actually like the godsend. And also I had to disengage because the bombs in that last fight will move away from the person that hit them in a straight line, basically. So if your squadron is hitting stuff back to you, you're gonna fail. And then Art of War is 165 now. I don't know what it was before. I think it was like 140. I can't go back to see what it was. If I get into a dungeon that's below level 54, which is most of them at this point, obviously, then I'll be able to see what it used to be. But I think it was like 140, 130, something like that. But anyway, awesome upgrades. I will see you next time. Hope you enjoyed, and bye-bye for now.